Hey, what's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. Today we are going to review the KEF Q-150 Bookshelf Speaker. I have them on my left and right in white. They're in black on the screen behind me, and they also come in a wood looking finish. All three are going to be vinyl wraps, and the white at least is a line grain finish, much like the Focal Cora 806 that has a line grain finish in black. On that speaker, it looks quite good. On the KEF, it does seem to look a little bit like a 5-year-old took a paintbrush to it when you get up close, and I wouldn't be the first person to say that the KEF Q line overall fit and finish is a little on the cheap side looking when you get close to it, but from a few feet away, it does look fantastic. Anyhow, so the speaker is $600 and it does go on sale a few times a year for as little as $300, which was kind of strange during my evaluation period. I kept asking myself, is it a $300 speaker? Is it a $600 speaker? I decided to kind of just right in the middle, call it a $450 speaker. And I do wish, instead of giving it such a deep discount, KEF just sold it year round for a little bit of a lower price. I think that would avoid a lot of hurt feelings, because I gotta say, if I bought these for $600, I would be pissed off if just a few months later I saw them on sale for $300. Now, I'm not saying they're not worth $600. They are actually very, very good. That is just a much steeper discount than you generally see in the industry. And if there's that much margin in it, I think it could stand to be sold at a lower price year round. Anyhow, moving on. So what we've got is a 5¼ inch driver on here, and this uses KEF's UniQ driver like all their other speakers do, where the tweeter is going to be nestled in with the mid-bass driver. It is a ported design, and it does have 5-way binding posts out back. So one other thing to note, I guess it's love or hate, is the logo is going to be kind of just like tacked on the top. I think it looks great. Other people I've seen say they think it's like a cheap look. I actually like it, and I say hats off to KEF for trying something different with the logo. The grills are sold separately, which I did think was a little bit weird for the $600 price tag. But again, this is where it gets weird, because at $300, the grills being sold separately, I'd be like, whatever, no big deal. But anyhow, let's get into the sound, okay? So the top end, the treble, it's not going to have a sharp attack, nor will it have a smooth attack. It will not be bright, nor will it be laid back, right? So do you get what I'm saying here? It is overall going to be neutral, both in quantity and its presentation. I liked that very much, and I was actually a little bit surprised because it's a KEF speaker, and I've heard KEF speakers are bright. That's what I've seen in other YouTube reviews, and I was expecting this like really forward, in my face, make me want to run out of the room scenario, and that just did not happen. So very pleasing to report that. The top end was very open, very detailed. The detail of those details, or micro details if you will, did not punch beyond its weight or anything like that, and could use a little bit of refinement there, but I guess that's why they have more expensive models, right? The imaging was crazy, crazy, crazy good, okay? This was one of those situations where it was almost too good. I was not expecting this. Like in a home theater situation where I'm watching like a TV show, movie, or playing a video game, if something happens on this side of the screen, like say a gunshot or a door open or whatever, it was so obviously coming from over there, with a sense of like depth and distance as well. That's not something I've really experienced in a 2-channel setup, because I do use my 2-channel setup for theater duty, TV duty, and video games as well. Anyhow, top end, really good. I loved its presentation. Moving down to the upper mid-range, there was no transition that I could notice whatsoever, as you would expect based on the design. Driver integration was absolutely flawless, and it was very good. Mid-range overall, again, very open, very good detail, and excellent, excellent imaging. If you've never heard a KEF speaker, you owe it to yourself to check them out, because when they're set up right, they kind of do something that you normally don't see at that price range, and some people are going to absolutely love it. I think other people might feel like it's a bit like odd initially, kind of like how the Focal Cora 806, with the amount of detail it was giving me for its price, it was a little bit odd at first. I just simply wasn't used to it, but after a little bit of time, you're like, wow, this is good. So I really liked that. Soundstage width was really good. Soundstage depth was really good, and it was overall very layered. If there was a guitar playing, a vocalist singing, and a bassist playing at the same time, for example, the separation between the three was phenomenal. I really thought that was very impressive for the price, especially for the 50% off $300 price that you could potentially buy these for. Soundstage vertically though, did feel to be a little bit lacking, and I'm gonna go ahead and say it's really, really, really important that these speakers are at the correct height. I found 1 inch about above ear level was perfect for me, and I did toe these in a little bit more than usual. They seem to be more of a point and shoot design. Anyhow, moving on to the mid bass. There was no mid bass bump to speak of. I appreciated that. However, the mid bass was there as it should be, and it was very clear and well defined with its leading edge. Moving down to the bass overall, the 40 to 50 hertz range was surprisingly muscular. I did almost all of my listening sessions without a subwoofer because this little thing had just enough bass, honestly. Now, 30 hertz and below, could it do anything? Not really. Not even not really, just nothing. It couldn't do anything below 30 hertz. But between 40 and 50, it was very muscular. It was well put together. It wasn't the tightest or quickest bass I've heard, but it was what I would call natural sounding, if you will, right? So overall, this is actually a really good speaker. This one took me by surprise. I wasn't expecting it to be that good. I will say if you're looking for something more on the warmer or more romantic side, this probably isn't for you. Or if you're gonna pair this with more like veiled sounding equipment like cheaper Denon stuff under $1,000, probably not gonna sound the best. These speakers are gonna sound their best paired with gear that's gonna play to these speakers' strength. Open sounding or neutral, stuff like that. Anything with a good amount of power, because these do need power to get going, like I said. Maybe I haven't said that. I've done a few takes. I can't remember what I said, honestly. So let me just say it, just in case. So everything I've said so far holds true at 80 dB average and above. Below 80 dB, didn't love these so much. These did need volume to sound their best. And it was a few more notches than I usually do. But it didn't have me running out of the room whatsoever. I was happy to play them loud because they sounded great loud. They really rewarded me the more I turned up that volume knob. Additionally, I will say, there's gonna be 2 scenarios where people are gonna use these, right? In a listening room, like I did, a smaller listening room I would recommend because these are small. If you've got a bigger listening room, they have the 350 as well as the floor standards. You may want to consider those instead. But in a small listening room, more than 4 feet away as you would normally be, they need volume over 80 dB. If you're going to be closer in a desktop situation, about 4 feet or so, I noticed lower volume was still phenomenal up close. So I could see a lot of people loving these in a desktop environment. So, like I said, good speaker. Really I just wasn't expecting what it gave me. I really did like it. I am definitely curious to hear more of the expensive KEF speakers and what they could do. This is definitely a sound I could get behind and something that I could dig and jam out to. If my friend doesn't want these back anytime soon, I'll happily leave them on the stands and listen to them for a few more weeks. Anyways, I've told you about as much as I can about the speakers. If you've got any questions, ask them in the comments below. And until next time, later.